Hi everyone, my name's Rabea.
And I'm Max.
And we are here at Art of Guitar in Dubai to show you our top 5 favourite tricks and tips using the Neural DSP Quad Cortex.
Tip 1. One of my favourite tips to tell people about Quad Cortex is that each of these foot switches is also a rotary encoder, which means when you're dialing in tone, you can do it without looking at the screen, which means you're actually genuinely listening to what the tone is changing, rather than trying to get it to sit very evenly on a number.
It's more interactive.
Yeah, more like an actual pedal.
Tip 2, one of my personal favourites, is that I like to create stereo rigs. In the real world, I would take 2 amplifiers, 2 speaker cabinets and create a really wide sound. One of the things you can do in Quad Cortex really easily is do that in the digital domain. Basically, I can go ahead and create a split my signal, join it back up here. Can simply add another amplifier, although one thing that's nice about Quad Cortex, a little bonus tip, is that I can copy and paste devices. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that. And now I've got a dual amp rig in the digital domain, sounding nice and wide, like this.
Tip 3. This is more of a sound design kind of thing, but one of my favourite things to do is to use blocks not for their original intended purpose. So one of my favourites is if we take a delay block and we change it from being a delay into just a stacked series of effects. So let me show you what I mean. If I take our tape delay, inside our tape delay we have a tape drive, flutter, wow, and a high pass and a low pass. So if I set the mix to 100, feedback all the way down to the lowest, and the delay time to its lowest, and then turn up the drive, the flutter, the wow, and if I bypass this, Rabea plays. So that's the unaffected signal, and now if I engage it, I've created a kind of lo-fi tone with 3 or 4 different effects going on in one block.
Tip number 4, one of my favorites for practicing, is utilizing the freeze block or the freeze device inside Quad Cortex, which essentially allows me to infinitely freeze a note for practice, which is really, really fun. But one of the things I like to do to expand on that is place a pitch block afterwards that can change the frozen note by using scenes. Scenes are essentially a really streamlined way of changing many parameters with a single push of a button, which you'd do with your foot if the Quad Cortex was on the floor. It's really, really fun. So we'll start by showing you here that we've got our transpose feature that is going to change the frozen pitch, and by using these different foot switches I can change the note. So we'll start here, keep it normal, move to this one, and I'm going to go ahead and change that to say number 8 or 8 semitones. Then I'm going to change this one to 5, and then I'm going to change this one to, let's say, -2.
Sure.
Okay, so as you can see now, when I press these foot switches, it does it almost automatically for me, which I really, really, really enjoy. Okay, here we go. So, I'm going to play my chord. It's frozen. Now when I change this button, just to show you what happens, and now I can play over the top.
As you can see, it's also fun to invite a friend round to both play with Quad Cortex, but with one guitar.
Super flexible.
Tip 5. One of my favourite things about Quad Cortex is you can edit and add loads of different things. You can change parameters, you spend ages like messing around, getting a tone that you really love. Maybe we'll add something down here, like a compressor. So you spend a long time, you make something you love, you spend hours, you've been practicing, you've been playing your scales, you've been using freeze, you've been doing stereo rigs, lo-fi stuff, great. And then you haven't saved your preset. Tip 5 is the undo button works over presets, so you don't lose all your hard work.
That's saved many a stressful situation.
It's great.
Well, there you go. There's our top 5 tips and tricks using the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. If you want to find out more about the Quad Cortex or try one for yourself, go to Art of Guitar.